Hello, guys. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. I'm your host, Dr. India White, and I am here to talk to you guys today. We're supposed to have a special guest. We'll see what happens with that. Wonderful colleague of mine, Cato Nord. He is a business owner and educator and a great person, but we'll see what happens. He's supposed to be on the way. But I just want to start out by saying hello, and I hope you guys have had a wonderful day. I hope that life has been treating you well. I know a lot of us are dealing with different things due to just various setbacks that we weren't, expecting in life. Of course, there's COVID, we've got unrest, so many other things are taking place. And so people are just scratching their heads and trying to figure out how to cope with life. Many people are just kind of at their wits' end. And I just want to tell all of you guys that my heart goes out to every single person. And, it's not been easy for any of us, but my heart really goes out to those that are really trying to provide for your families and it's just not working, or, you had opportunities and it just kind of slipped, from your life. And now you're trying to figure out how to deal with all of this stuff. So I just want you to know that I sympathize and I'm here with you guys. Thank you so much for joining my show and watching tonight. So I have been on kind of an awesome journey in my life. I have decided to really kind of take charge and move forward in a lot of things. And with that has come some unexpected sacrifice, some unexpected releasing of, just different people and different things that I was holding on to in my life that I was not aware of, that was really not good for me. So with that said, I'll talk to you guys about that a little bit. If Cato joins, great. If not, then we're just going to have a good old talk. All right. So I have been dealing with in my life, and I think it's going to encourage you guys too. I actually heard a message from my spiritual father, Bishop Arnold, about basically being sick and tired of something. And when you're sick and tired of something, then because you're not complacent about it, you'll confront that matter. And so with that, what I'm going to talk to you guys about until Cato gets here is I'm going to talk to you guys about when you're sick of where you are in life. So it's going to kind of piggyback on this message, but it's not going to be like preaching. So why am I talking about this? This takes me back to a time in my life. It was very tough. And there was like a mental block. I felt like I didn't quite know how to get out of the rut. I didn't quite know how to start over. And I had all these dreams built inside of me, but then I had all of these fears that were pending because, I was worried that, this person would take offense, or I didn't have permission to be myself because of certain people in my inner circle. There were people that I looked up to, people that I considered to be mentors, and I'm not talking about like my personal mentors, but just in general mentors that did not necessarily want me to fulfill those dreams in my life. And so then what happened was I decided to kind of settle and not take charge in my life. And as a result, because I began to kind of grow sick and tired of wanting people's opinions and wanting people to, accept me. And I got tired of that. I just began to initiate and do things on my own. And I just said a prayer and I just went for it and made it happen. And so as a result, I'm in the place that I am today. And I want to encourage a lot of you guys out there. Cato is going to join us. Woo-hoo! But I want to encourage a lot of you guys out there today and say that if you're sick of where you are in life, I just want to encourage you with 4 points. 1, create a change. 2, put down your excuses. 3, avoid laziness. And 4, follow your dreams. And so with that said, I hope that you guys can take some bit of encouragement with that. I'm now going to bring on our phenomenal guest, Cato Nord. Cato, how are you?
How you doing, Dr. India?
I'm doing great. It's so good to see you. So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So I'm super excited. We got Cato on the show, right? Huh? What was
Yes,
that?
ma'am. Congratulations. I was saying
Yeah.
congratulations on earning your doctorate.
Thank you. Lots of hard work, and I did it because I was sick of where I was. And
I
believe
do.
it or not, Cato, I
Yes.
had many people tell me don't do it. I had people tell me like don't get your doctorate because of the financial stress. I heard don't get your doctorate because you don't need it.
Right.
I heard what are you trying to prove by getting your doctorate? I even heard that if you get your doctorate, then you're not going to be really that acceptable because since you're still young, a lot of people won't really want you around because you have a doctorate and it'll be intimidating and it'll close doors for you because you have your doctorate. So I had a lot of naysayers along the way. And so with that, I just want to say thank you for being my friend and being an ally and supporting me for making that decision.
Of course, the support has been mutual over the years. You gave me my first lessons on what it's like to be a professional educator and how to navigate I guess, those corridors of power in the halls of education. And I still use all of those lessons about 7 years later.
Oh
So,
wow.
and
You're a wonderful person. For you guys joining the Real Talk Show, Kato and I had a wonderful season together as educators. A wonderful time. And we just learned from each other. We made each other laugh and we enjoyed life. And that has been one relationship that has just stuck. You have been a part of my tribe. And I'm so blessed to have you, Kato. And
thank
not
you.
only, with that, like I said, he's an entrepreneur, guys. He also has a photography business and Kato has been such a blessing and has been able to feature me in a multiple motivational speaking events and just various different charity events and functions around Tampa. He's been there. So,
Thank you.
so thank you, Kato. And so with that, let's talk about you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, which part of my life, which parts or which phases of my life would you like to know about?
Start from the beginning and then tell us where you are today and how you got there.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, thank you, Dr. India. I'll try to uh, make it concise. But first, I'm from Haiti, the northeastern part of the country, not too far from Dominican Republic. I was born there in 1980. At about the age of 4, I experienced a burn accident due to third-degree burns from my mother cooking boiling rice or steaming rice in a pot, which she was cooking in on the ground, as a lot of people do around the world in other countries. In a lot of places, even the rich or the wealthy cook in an outdoor house, a house separate from the main house, or on
Right.
the ground itself. They'll send their worker, their maid, what have you, to cook outside. And so she was doing that. I was playing nearby. I knocked the pot over on the left side of my face. So that's why more of the left side of my face is scarred than the right side. But thank God, due to a very kind missionary, American missionary, who was there in Haiti at the time, my great aunt, my aunt took me to the hospital about an hour and a half by horseback because we were living in the mountains, and there wasn't a hospital on every corner like there is here in the United States and a lot of other countries. So again, hour and a half a ride on horseback. The American and Dutch doctors who were there on a missions trip, stabilized me with antibiotics so I wouldn't die because I was that close to death. Because again, burn victims who pass away after their accident don't die from the actual burns. They die from infection that from the untreated burns. You understand? So God was good. He blessed my soon to be adopted mother to arrange with Shriners, Shriners International. God bless all of them, all over the world, to bring me to Cincinnati, Ohio. I had 15 surgeries over several years from 1985 through 1985 when I was 18. And they didn't need to do any further surgeries at that point, but they took care of me to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, treatment, life-saving treatment. So I'm really grateful for them. I've been blessed with so many people in my life that have passed through my life that are either still there now or were there for a period of time and were just a great blessing to me. So anyway, we settled in Little Rock, Arkansas, because I had to have extended treatment, not just one or two surgeries. So we couldn't keep going back and forth to Haiti because we wouldn't be able to maintain my medical regimen there due to lack of medical infrastructure. So I learned English. I only spoke Creole when I came over. I'd never seen any white people. So I was kind of scared of the first white people I saw because that was just white folks were just
Why do you think that was? It was just a culture shock?
Right. Everything was a culture shock. I got in a limousine because Shriners, really laid the red carpet out for us. I was 5 years old. I pushed the red button on the limo door and the door flew open. There's a red button on the elevator. I wanted to push the red button, the emergency button on the elevator. It was a real culture shock. But like I said, I adapted, especially with the help of my new, adopted mom. Who later adopted me. And she taught me English in a few months. She had me to enroll in a Christian school, which gave me a lot of the values that I hold dear to this day. We later moved to Florida, here to Tampa, Florida. We went through some different things. We both became homeless for about 5 to 6 weeks because the person who we were renting from sold the house under us while I was away at Shriners. So again, this was in 1995 when I was 15 years old. So I know what it's like to have nothing. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to still be giving of myself despite the fact that I have nothing. So those are lessons that have impacted me to this day even as an educator. Always give of yourself, even when you think you have nothing, because there's always somebody that's looking up to you for guidance or support. So don't worry about what you don't have. Tomorrow is coming, and tomorrow is going to be a lot better. So again, my adopted mother put me on a really disciplined regimen, church, and academics, and exercise, and a good
shout on, huh?
Yeah, she had me. I started college 2 years early, so basically at the end of 10th grade, after homeschooling, part of my ninth and most of my 10th grade, went to Hillsborough Community College, studied computer engineering and music. Got my degree, went to USF, got my BS in information systems, and then my MBA. And God really blessed. I went all the way through with almost 100% scholarship. So here I was, the first kid in my biological family to attend and graduate college. And now I'm really happy that others of my relatives, my cousins, they're finding me on social media and they're in college, but I'm really pleased and grateful that I was able to be the first one. So that means a lot to me, to come from a situation where I have family members that were never able to go to school, to come to, a place where I have all the opportunity, no excuses, just moving forward towards success.
That's excellent.
So and that's where I am today. So
proud of you that you're first generation,
Thank you. Thank
you. So tell me then, so you got an MBA, you did all this like rock star stuff. What led you to say, I want to pay it forward as an educator?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, my adopted mother was a retired educator. She taught languages in Haiti as part of her missions work. Mm-hmm. So that's, and she was the only person in my vicinity when she met me who could speak both Creole, Haitian Creole, and English. That was a requirement of Shriners. So again, she, as a retired educator, she partially homeschooled me at home because I was always on the road. She was always teaching me. As a matter of fact, my last year of school, she taught me about 12 subjects, including Black history and French. So she really instilled a valuation of education, education as a value for me. Let me know if I had an education, there was nothing anybody could do to me, nothing anybody could take from me. I could write my own chapter in the world. And so, I focused from the age of 10. Everything I did from the age of 10, I had the focus of becoming a future IT professional and graduating from college. Literally everything I did, my summer camps, my reading, talking to professionals, that came from that drive, to have a long-term vision of something better and be able to do what you need to do to get it done.
Excellent. And
Yeah.
I'm proud of you and your accomplishments, Cato.
Thanks.
And I want to ask another question. Like, so you're first generation. Another thing is, you're also a Black male in society, and you're educated.
Right.
And
that's a whole field by itself.
Yeah. So talk about that a little bit. How have you been able to kind of just juggle or navigate the waters in society, as well as how have you been able to pay it forward to young Black men in society as well?
Okay. First thing is, I'm a Christian. So again, a lot of my values come from the Bible and from Christian teaching, and it's not always so much about God this or Jesus said you got to do this or that. A lot of it is really practical, everyday living. The 10 Commandments, are the basis for how we should treat everybody. We're not lying to each other because we respect each other. We're not stealing. We're not doing things that destroy, but rather we're doing things that build up other people. Whether they're in our personal life or in our community, what have you. So as a Christian, I realized, hey, Jesus was persecuted when he was trying to do good. As a Black male, as one of many Black males in this foreign country that is still foreign to many Black males who were born here, they're not going to treat me any better. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I began to develop a self-esteem within myself where I know, okay, I am a child of God. I am a child of greatness. Somewhere in my past, somebody was great. And from the African history that I studied, there's a whole lot of people that set the tone for the entire world, for entire modern civilization. So I never let any of the racism or the experiences of prejudice really get me down, because I knew I wasn't living for other people. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just internalized a lot of hope, a lot of strength from the people I saw around me, especially my adopted mom and other, who had gone through things much worse in the Jim Crow South, than I could ever even imagine. Just the story she told about being a Black female growing up in the South and the abuse that Black females suffered in their families from whites in society. It was just mind-boggling stuff. So, I took those lessons to heart. I carried myself with respect and dignity everywhere I went. And I said, I'm never going to embarrass my family, my African-American family, by not acting like the child of kings and queens that I am. And so that's just how I acted in public as a kid. I never wanted to embarrass my family. I always wanted to represent them because I knew where I was from, especially with Haiti being the oldest Black republic in the Western Hemisphere, and the countries that have taken examples from my forefathers in Haiti that set the tone for freedom, for rebellion, for triumphing against all odds. Those were, when you really understand your culture and you really understand what you come from, no outside forces can discourage you. Whatever goal you set, you will reach because you know where you're going and you know where you're from.
So how do you instill that into the young Black males in schools today? I'm sure, do you mentor students? Like, what advice do you give to other Black men that are successful like yourself if they're trying to contribute and pay it forward to other Black males? And I say this because you look at our society right now, we're dealing with civil unrest. We're dealing with all types of foolishness. We've got COVID. And some people have kind of given up on certain Black males. They feel like, I don't want to deal with it. I can't help. And they're successful. And they feel like maybe there's not, there won't be, like an openness to receive them if they did try to contribute. So What
Right.
would you say to those that would want to contribute and pay it forward to other Black males and they are successful Black men themselves?
Okay, so that's the moral of the story, it seems. Instead of retreat, say, having the quote unquote retreating to the suburbs mentality, once you made it, I still strongly encourage, my friends and my students, stay connected with your community.
Right.
Keeping it
Sorry.
real, keeping
You're funny,
it,
kiddo.
yeah, keeping it real doesn't mean you have to live in the project for the
Right.
rest of your life.
Right.
let's let's be honest. Okay, that's a misnomer. Keeping it real means that you're always connected with your brothers and sisters because you are part of something that's much bigger than yourself. So,
Right.
examples, concrete examples. As a young man, my mom always said, connect with others, support your own. So, one thing she had me do was with my full ride scholarship, some of the money I had left over, I established a $400 scholarship for a Haitian medical student so that he could go to Miami and study
Nice.
and then return back to Haiti and work in a hospital. That's an example. That wasn't, that's not a lot of money, but for him, it was his whole life, you
Yeah.
know. So, tutoring, mentoring, she had me tutoring other students from the age of 14, and there's so many students now that hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. They're like, man,
Yeah.
you taught us when we were in Sunday school. We were 3, 4, 5 years old, and now they're young adults. So
Nice.
every time I got a chance to impart some knowledge to somebody else, no matter their age, I did it. That was a big part of how you give back. As far as jobs, if there was a job that I knew about and my brother or sister needed a job, I was like, hey, here's a connection I made through something I've been doing in student government, or I work with different entrepreneurs all over town I've been blessed with. So, I'm not gonna shut that network down, say, oh, I've made it now. I'm hanging out with these judges, at the country club and this and that. I'm opening my network so
Right.
that my brothers and sisters can eat. If hey,
Beautiful.
my friend has a job and he needs an accountant, you're an accountant, you need a change of scenery, hey, call my friend. Here's my
Exactly.
LinkedIn network. My LinkedIn network is not private.
Right.
It's public because I want you to see who I'm connected with. If you want to connect with them, connect with them. So just
Are
that
we
little thing.
connected on LinkedIn, Kato?
We are, I believe we are. If we aren't, we will be tonight. I imagine you have a picture with your robe, with your doctoral robes.
Oh, you do?
A picture. No, I imagine you do. If
Yes,
you
I do.
don't, okay. If you
Yes.
don't, you should. You
Yes.
should. But I believe you tagged me on LinkedIn
Yes.
once recently. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, always be sharing. Always be sharing with your brothers and sisters. Any opportunity you see to help somebody else become a success, do it. It doesn't matter how small it is.
Now, I want to talk now because this is beautiful. I just love how you network. You've got the it factor for connecting and being in the room, being
Right.
present when you need to be, and it's
It's
just
a
made
skill
you
in
just
itself.
shine. I love it. It's
Thank
made you
you.
shine.
Thank
Um,
you.
and so with that, I want to talk a little bit about your photography. Kato North, the photo guy. Kato, the photo guy. So talk to us a little bit about that and your services that you offer, because I know someone on here might want a photo shoot or they might need you to help out with some things. I actually was trying to get you to help me with a photo shoot, but
Well, we can talk
anyways,
about it off air after.
right. So, but yeah, so talk to them about your services because you do great work. I can attest and I can
Thank you.
testify that you do a great work. So go ahead and talk to them about what you offer, what services you've been able to do, and maybe people you've been able to serve as well.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Dr. India. So, Kate, the specific name is Kato the Photo Guy. Kato the Photo Guy LLC. You can find me online at ktpgllc.com. You can also find me at Kato the Photo Guy, KETO the Photo Guy on Instagram. LinkedIn, and Twitter. So it's the same exact handle on all three social sites. Okay, I provide personal, business, and political photography. So, for example, right now, one of my clients, who's also a good friend, is running for the school board or running for re-election to the school board in Hillsborough County, which is in Tampa, Florida. Okay, so I'm providing what's called digital organizing services for her. Anything related to graphics, taking pictures, manipulating images, videography, all of that is under my roof. And the whole point of it, of course, is to push the audience to vote.
Right. You're doing a great job. I've seen it. And I'm excited for that candidate.
Thank you. Thank you. She was a rock star today at today's county board meeting for sure.
Yeah.
I feel very good.
Yeah. And so,
that's one thing I do. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's one thing I do. But of course, I provide services like headshots, baby photos, portraits, any type of event. If I need to ramp up to a 10,000 plus attendee event like a festival, I just grab a couple of my fellow photographers, videographers, we get to work. So there's not really any job that's too large or too small, for me. Nice. But I love what I do. It's just something that I just started doing one day. Somebody gave me a camera for graduation. And I started snapping pictures. My friends started taking notice. They started taking me on promotions with them. Those friends that were professional photographers, they encouraged me. So I asked them one day, hey, do you think I should do it? They were like, yeah, man, go for it. Everybody except one person who studied, somebody that I still look up to, by the way. No harm, no foul, but she was somebody who had studied photography in a university setting. So she had a 4-year degree in it. She was working for the government, and she was like, "Nah, I think that's kind of disrespecting the people who've been, doing your craft for a long time and have studied it, have educated themselves." So I determined myself, well, I may not get a 4-year degree in photography in a university, but Lord have mercy, I'm going to study my behind off and learning the craft, just as if I went to a 4-year university.
This reminds me of when
to propel me.
Yeah, this reminds me of when you first did one of the photo shoots for us.
Yeah,
I think it was for Hapsy. I remember it like yesterday.
Oh man, I was so you gave me an opportunity, and thank you so much.
It was like I was like, we need you now. And you showed up.
I was running
and you made it happen. Like you were taking pictures of the superintendent, pictures of the board, pictures of the students. Like
I really didn't expect all that because I thought it would be, some Black students. I didn't know it would be 600 Black students.
Yep.
600 high achieving honored.
Sometimes it was 900. 900.
Yeah. Now it's even more than that. And just lessons learned. My camera ran out of battery. And so I had to tap another photographer, a friend who was there on the same assignment for a different company, and say, hey, man, can you help me out? But I learned from that point, always think bigger than the project that you're involved in, and you can never go wrong.
That's right.
A lot of lessons learned. I appreciate my friends for putting up with me.
Yeah.
I made a lot of mistakes.
I like how you talked about how you even had naysayers. Like when I first started the show, I spoke about how you just have to get sick and tired of where you are and put down those naysayers. I can't tell you, Cato, that is it. Yeah. That is a really huge key in our lives is learning to just put down the naysayers and those that they might not consider you to be their cup of tea. That's fine. Next. Right. You got to cut people off. You got to clear your slate, reset.
Sometimes those people will have to be from your own family.
Yeah.
Because they know you as Little Joe or Little India, Little Tommy.
Yeah.
I used to change his diapers. And like the Bible says, the prophet is not with honor in his own town.
Right.
So sometimes you just have to expand your borders and go, you may not be they say go where you're appreciated. Sometimes you got to make your new place of appreciation.
Yes, you do. Yes,
and
you do.
Show people that show yourself and show people that you're serious.
Yes.
And sometimes God gives you those challenges where he wants to see, are you really comfortable where you are,
Hmm.
just doing okay, or just doing just good enough, or do you want more?
Yeah.
And you got to answer the question, do I want to be regular or mediocre, or do I want to be great? You don't have to be the president of the United States to be great.
Right.
You can be
Right.
president of your own house.
That's
and,
right. And just make
be great.
impact. Right.
Yes, make an impact no matter where you are.
I like how you talked about, um, and you do this so well. Like you have learned to not tolerate just being, I guess, content in an environment where
Right.
you're just tolerated and not
Right.
celebrated. I know in my own life and in yours too, you've had those haters and those naysayers and the people that they just tolerate you, like,
Yes.
like,
Yeah. Yes. Like
but you
here, we
still
got
soared
here.
in spite of that, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So talk to us about some of your mindsets that has
Okay.
helped lead you through that, because I know you have a very strong mindset,
Yeah.
and you know how to smile through it all. Like,
Yes.
you know how
That's
to save face and you use emotional intelligence very well. So talk to us
thank
a little
you.
bit,
Thank
Kato.
you.
What are your skills? What is the magic behind it all?
Okay. Well, now the magic is maintaining a balanced perspective on the world. It's something I used to say to my students, some of my high school students, and that was look forward and not behind, because your tomorrow is going to be greater than your yesterday. Yesterday you may have been
Right.
struggling, you may have been in poverty, you may have been dealing with different types of abuse, you may have been dealing with lack, you may have been dealing in just getting by. Whatever the case is, you may have been doing great otherwise, but been dealing with rejection from a parent, a
Mm-hmm.
sibling, spouse, even a child, what difficulties with a child. There's so many different ways to struggle, you
Right.
know, and you have to have a mind that understands, okay, I may be going through a tough time now, but it's going to get better. I need to be
Exactly.
consistent, keep doing what I'm doing. If you've been getting up at 5 a.m., doing devotions and working out, something I need to do.
You're like reading my mail, Kato.
Right. Then keep getting up at 5 a.m., working out, getting ready for the day. If you've been reading great self-help books, keep reading great self-help books. One thing I've told every high school student that I've had is every wealthy or rich person I know reads.
That's it.
Every
That is
single
it.
one. Every millionaire I've met, every successful person, whether they had $10 in the bank or $10 million in the bank, they read. They're always trying to gain knowledge so they can expand their mind. I can't tell you how many magazines I've sat down to read, whether technical magazines from my former life as an IT professional, or an educational magazine, or a magazine just dealing with entrepreneurs or fundraising, business planning, what have you, small businesses. And I got an idea. I was like, wow, he did that. I bet I can do that too. Let me go
Beautiful.
learn and see if I can do that. Oh wow, he's got a new product. Here's how he approaches customers.
Right.
Here's how he gets ready for his day. Let me try something like that and see if it works for me. Everything is not always going to work for you, but you don't know till you try it. So I'm always ready to find something new. And again, being tapped into a great network, I belong to some quiet or private networks of entrepreneurs. One of them is all Black male entrepreneurs. And I can't tell you, I just went to I'll go to a meeting. It'll be a Zoom meeting or an in-person meeting, a small group meeting. Somebody will say, hey, tell us about your issues that you've been having. Tell us what you're dealing with. We'll tell them. Somebody else will come back with a great idea and say, hey man, have you thought of this? Have you tried this? Here's a phone number to call. Here's a website you need to go to. Here's somebody you need to talk to. We all have resources that are untapped.
I want
That
to
we
talk
can
about
reach out to. Yes.
sticking together and combining resources versus being
Yes.
that crab in the crab pot trying to
Right.
pull down your brother or your sister that
Right.
is an eagle like you, and you're
Yeah.
intimidated or you don't want to see them thrive. So
Right.
it's like, how can I just shut them down, snatch
Right.
them down? I've had people say the most weirdest things to me in my life. And I mean, I came from rock bottom homelessness.
Right.
And I mean,
Yeah.
all that I have right now is by the grace of God. So the
Absolutely.
fact that people would still try to come in my life and snatch out what God has established is like, okay, fight against
Yeah.
the hand of God if you want. That's up to
Yeah.
you. But what I want to say is this. I have found there are people that will smile in your face and they have no good intent for you. Like you have to vibe them out. I say that all the time. They
Absolutely.
want to either take your ideas or they want to like sabotage you
Yeah.
because of their own issues
Yeah.
inside. So how have you been able to kind of work with all of these various entrepreneurs and business people, educators, leaders in the world, and still navigate the waters, make those connections, and make a difference joining them,
Right.
and avoiding those crabs in the crab pot? What do you
Okay.
do?
Okay. Well, first thing, well, two things. Number one, I've always understood that poverty is a mindset. Some
Right.
people are resource poor. Some people are mentally or mindset poor. Okay, you can be the richest person in the world and still have a poverty mindset. So people with a poverty mindset, when they see you trying to do something new or something different, because they're so accustomed to trying something new or something different, because they're afraid they might fail. Some people are actually afraid to fail, but some people are also afraid to succeed, because if they succeed, now more is going to be required of them. You understand? So being mediocre or just being regular can be the end all for some people because they're getting by. So again, I'm not talking bad about anybody who's doing the best they can. But if you're not where you want to be or where you need to be or where your family needs to be, then it's incumbent upon you to find the resources, find the people, find the network, or get the educational degree, the certification, what have you. If you didn't get a GED, but you're making good money, you want to go to the next level, hey, you can still get your GED. You can get a 2-year degree. You can go on, get a 4-year degree, what have you, online if necessary. There's so many solutions. But the second thing, again, is understanding your network. Understanding your
Yes.
network. Your network is tied to your net worth. Poor people hang out with poor people. Rich people hang out with rich people. So again, that's not a discouragement. Not saying, oh, don't hang out with anybody that doesn't have money. But understand, if you want to go somewhere, the people that you hang out the closest with, those people reflect where you're going to go. So I deliberately choose people that are light years ahead of where I am. And I pull on their skirt tail or their coat tail. I say, hey, you know, let's be friends. Whatever that means to you, you may gain something out of it. We both may gain something out of it. But let's be friends. Let's link up. I want to learn from you. Other professional photographers that are making a killing. I'm not there yet where I'm establishing my own studio because I'm focused on education right now. But I still say, hey man, let me go on a shoot with you. Let me come to your studio and talk to you about this technology, this software, this photo editing program, so forth. So definitely the network, linking yourself to mentors. And that's really what I was talking about just now. Linking people that are so far ahead of you and have done what you already want to do, especially, or in the position that you want to be in. Link up with them. Ask them, can I talk with you, once a week or a few times a month? Let's have coffee together. And you'll be amazed. People love to help people, to
They
be
do.
honest. Yeah,
But
I mean,
you got to be careful too with the type of help you're receiving. If
well,
you
yeah,
are
yeah,
always speaking to someone and it's always like depressing and cutting and cynical and critical, you
right.
might want to reconsider your mentorship with that person.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, if they're
A real mentor does
you,
not tear down on a
that's
consistent
correct.
basis, if
That's
at all.
true.
A mentor, like when I've mentored students,
Yes,
I could see their issues
right,
clear as day. But
right.
because I'm worried about breaking their heart and crushing their spirit, I don't
Yes,
say anything about it.
right,
I support them. And then if they're like, hey, can you keep it real with me, India? Like, what's going on, in my
right.
life? What do you think I need to change? I might either tell like a parable that can help them see like where they are, or I can say, hey, you know, I see here's an area of focus. You're doing so great here, but let's bring it up to here instead of, oh, you're just a hot mess.
Yeah.
Oh, you go sit down. You know, like, child, look at you. You know, like, and you know, like, I mean, honestly, because this show is about being real and having real talk, but some people think they're being mentors and that they're doing good, and they're really breaking people down, and they're doing it because they don't understand that they themselves have issues. Another thing about being a mentor, if you're a mentor, you have to make sure you are whole. You can't mentor. And also, when you go into business with people, you have to be whole. And I'm on this tangent right now because I've had people that you know, you go into business with them and they're like killing you, like with the vibes and with the emotional abuse and the physical things they say. They're like cursing you out and then commanding you to pay them. You know, it's just like
that's insane. That's like the preacher that beats you and chases you around the church. And it's like, okay, give me my $20 now. How you feeling?
Right. So
you got to build a relationship.
Yes.
And then you can build the person.
And I think I think this is huge, and especially with mentoring too. Like if somebody says, you know, I want to get better, and I don't know where I'm going in my life, and I just can't seem to make anything, you know, come alive in my life. I mean, I'm not going to give them some negative, critical advice. They already have pinpointed that there's an issue, you know. So it's my job as the expert in life or the expert in their area to provide awesome feedback. So with that, how have you been able to kind of mentor successfully without destroying that person's like soul? How have you mentored successfully, and how have you also been able to do business successfully with multiple leaders?
Okay, I apologize. Can you ask that one more time, please?
Yes. How have you been able to mentor people or students successfully, and how have you been able to do business with people successfully?
Okay, that's a good question. So as I'm thinking through my response, I'll start by saying, and just like the name of your show, keep it real. Always be real. First, you got to be honest with yourself. Like you said, before you get into mentorship, you got to know yourself. You got to know your weaknesses, your strengths. You have to really understand yourself before you even think about trying to understand someone else. Because in order to be a good mentor, you have to be able to empathize, you know, be able to put yourself in that other person's shoes. So, you know, the good character traits, empathy, you know, you definitely need if you're going to be a mentor. I do mentor a number of students informally. I'm not a guidance counselor. I let them know I'm not a guidance counselor. There's some services your guidance counselor provides that I cannot. I'll give you as good information as I possibly can. You know, if they want me to help them with their FAFSA, you know, so they can get that first crack at that very necessary student aid, you know, I'm glad to do that. You know, if they want to know, hey, you know, can you write me a letter of recommendation? Definitely glad to do that. I do that all the time. You know, hey, can you refer me to a college, you know, some college admissions faculty, what have you? Yes, because of some of my relationships, I may be able to do that, you know. But again, the empathy is the bottom level of it, the first rung of it. You know, customer service focus, always understand that the world around you is looking to you, you know, whatever it is they need that you're trying to provide for them, act as if you're providing that service or that help to yourself, you know, the people that you love. So definitely customer service focus. Again, goal setting. You know, sometimes when you're mentoring someone, you have to help them do the basics of goal setting. You know, you may not be a motivational speaker or that sort of guru, but everybody can do some basic goal setting. Teach people how to write your goals. You know, 3 months from now, I plan to be doing this. 6 months from now, I plan to be doing this. For example. You know, you might just do 6 months, maybe, whatever works in your specific case. A year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, here's what I want to be doing. For example, in 2014, I was just let's see, yes, early 2004. No, sorry, 2013. I was still a sub in school, and that's in at Chamberlain High School. That's where I met you, and you taught me so much there. I started meeting with a life coach who is now one of my mentors, and God just blessed me. I have some more than one, like running through hands and fingers. And my mentor said at a dinner meeting, he said, I want you to write a letter right now, write a card, a greeting card to yourself, telling yourself exactly where you're going to be 12 months from now. 12 months from now, I'm going to mail you back that card, that greeting card, and I want you to have accomplished all the things that you put there. So again, I was living kind of hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, trying to take care of my son, you know, as I was going through a tough time with my family situation, which is a whole another show. And so I wrote down, I don't want to be a sub anymore. I want to be a full-time educator in the either at a college or university or in the county public school system, certified, ready to work, you know, with my own lodging, my own vehicle, so forth, so on. Okay. Fast forward 12 months, I made it there in 11 months. You know, for 12 months, I received the card in the mail. I was like, oh man, I totally forgot I did this. But the goals that I written down, that my mentor made me write down, I went over them every day, one way or another, until I reached them, you know. And so I fixed them in my mind and I got them done. So those are the type of skills that I'm able to teach young men and young women. Even now, you know, use a calendar, use a watch, you know, sync your Google Calendar on your phone, you know, never be late for a meeting, you know, always be excellent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Now, I know schools are reopening right now, and I know Hillsborough County did have a board meeting, and they discussed their plans of having like the first 4 weeks online, and so I know you're going back to the classroom.
Yes, I don't have a choice. But
talk to us about the reopening of school, and how do you feel about that, and what's going through your mind as an educator, and where do you see all that kind of heading?
Okay, well, several things. One, you know, we do have a number of members on the Hillsborough County School Board who are forward thinking. They're not afraid to go against the grain, even in election years where you're trying to count every vote. And that's the thing about a leader. Sometimes you have to make the right decision, even when it comes at a personal cost to yourself and to your ambitions, because the right thing is the right thing to do every day of the week, no matter what situation you're in. Okay. So I'm not afraid to go back, but as an educator dealing with students with disabilities, personally, I need to go back because it's very challenging to teach and engage many children with disabilities if you're not in their face. You understand? Because of different things, sensory issues, eyesight, hearing impairment, you know, a lot of different factors, you know, that are more difficult. It can be done. Okay, it can be done, but it's more difficult to do outside a classroom environment. So I don't mind going back. You know, I've been a certified special educator for almost 7 years now, and I love it. You know, that's how I got my start. That's where I'm going to stay. Let's see. But the whole 4 weeks online, yes, I think starting the first 4 weeks online beginning August 24th is appropriate at this time. You know, I will say for those that are saying, what about the achievement gap, so forth, I'm going to say something that's very controversial. The achievement gap has always been here. COVID-19 did not cause the achievement gap. The achievement gap existed starting after desegregation. Before desegregation, our schools, our Black and brown neighborhood schools, educated our kids. We went to Tuskegee. We went to Harvard. We went to Clark. We went to Morehouse. You know, we got world-class educators. We took those educations. We literally went to the moon. We had young Black men like Dr. Ronald McNair, who unfortunately died in the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion. But he earned his doctorate. He was the first in his family to earn a doctorate. All of his research was destroyed, and overnight, all of his doctoral research was destroyed overnight. Several years of work. And in about a year's time, he recreated that entire body of doctoral research and went on and got his doctorate in rocket science, as it were, at MIT. You know? Yeah. So we've always educated our own with a high quality instruction. Then all of a sudden, when our kids started being bused into neighborhoods, into communities where, I'm sorry to say, a lot of the administrators and teachers cared nothing about them because they were not the same color. That's when the quality of education started to go down for Black and brown kids. We have to be honest and look at the history. Okay, so that's when the achievement gap started. So a lot of people didn't even know the word achievement gap until this year. So don't talk to me about the achievement gap if you haven't been doing anything to reverse it all this time. It's just a buzzword. Now, what's going to happen is if you send all of our Black and brown kids who are more likely to not have health insurance and health care back into the school system, when we already know there's a minority of students, a small number of students going in on day one who already have COVID-19, then all you're going to do is blast the achievement gap wide open. Because what can a kid do who's in the hospital or sick or physically disabled as a result of COVID-19? Everybody who gets COVID-19 doesn't die. Right. And some people that are literally physically disabled for the rest of their life due to that. Do you think that child's going to be in a position to study or to learn?
Do that Algebra 1 homework?
Right. You think they're going to be doing homework? No. So all you've done is make the achievement gap wider by forcing kids into a situation that they're gonna be exited from in a matter of weeks. So we have to be balanced. We have to have understanding of all sides of the issue and understand how it impacts everybody. I don't want my brothers and sisters, Black and browns, to fall behind. Okay? But sometimes, but I have the confidence in our educators who are rock star educators that we, because I'm included, will do everything we need to do to catch the kids up, and that our society will get back, hopefully, to family centered. Because right now, a lot of this discussion really stems from the fact that our society in the United States is not family centered. It is business and profit centered first. That's why we have to have the discussion where the kids are going to be during the day. Well, in a family-centered society, we know where the kids are going to be during the day. We know who's going to be watching them. Right. Unfortunately, we have to make some sacrifices, and I'd rather sacrifice my job or career and have a healthy child than say, "Oh man, little Johnny was pretty nice dude." So it's a lot of hard decisions, don't get me wrong. But like I said, when you're a leader, the reason you're given leadership or granted leadership positions is to make hard decisions that everybody doesn't want to make. Anybody can Monday morning quarterback and second guess. But when you're in that chair, you're one of those 7 or 9 board members or 5 board members, as the case may be, and people's lives are in your hands. You really have to think it all the way through, not just for the constituents who are voting for you in August.
Exactly. Now, how do you feel about returning back to your classroom? Are you concerned about that first day of school, getting students, and if the kids have COVID and you being exposed? Like, have you had conversations about this, like with your family and your inner circle?
Oh yes, absolutely. I'd be foolish not to. Because, I have to consider all angles. I've got children that have, in my own home, that have asthma. So they're already predisposed to COVID-19. And thank God, since March, with that month 3, over 5 months, we've been perfectly healthy, But I understand there's a possibility that, due to no social distancing, I mean, in a classroom, you can't get more than 10, 8 to 10
Right.
children socially distanced 6 feet
Exactly.
apart. It's
Right.
physically impossible. There's no class, there's no elementary or middle or high school classroom that's that big for those
Now,
dimensions.
are you guys doing like I know you have the face mask, but some
Yes.
are doing like plexiglass or like those like shields, face shields.
Well,
Um,
I've
yeah,
heard, I've heard that some of my colleagues will be getting the plexiglass
yeah,
face shields, and if they do, then yes, I will wear the plexiglass face shield
yeah.
and a secondary mask
I would
under,
do that definitely. Like
because
if yeah,
as we know, children with disabilities in certain groups with disabilities are prone to touching. You know, they want to establish contact, and in their mind, regardless of their age, because of their disability, they don't understand. I can't touch my teacher just because I love them or because I look up to them. You know, I can't touch my friend just because, you know, I see him. I haven't seen him or her in a long time. And so they will, in some cases, they will try to touch you, you
yeah,
know. And on the one hand, you don't want to push them away, but on the other hand, you got to be honest. Tell them, hey, you know, let's high five it from a distance. You know, I still love you, man. You
right.
know, let's high five it from a distance because you know a lot of people are getting sick, and we got to keep each other healthy.
Or fist bump, right? Fist
Yeah,
bump.
exactly. Air fist bump. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of adults who don't wash their hands.
Oh
There's
yeah,
kids that don't wash their hands.
yeah.
There's
Mhm,
adults that share their lunch. There's kids that are definitely going to share their lunch.
mhm.
You
Oh yeah,
know,
yeah.
things
You
like
know,
that. You know, I'm hoping that it works out at my new school that I have a pack of wipes, handy wipes. I can hand one handy wipe to every student and say, please wipe down your desk, you know, as you're leaving the classroom, what
you're
have
gonna
you.
need a lot of wipes.
Yeah, I'm going to need a lot of wipes. As a matter of fact, there's a gentleman, an engineer, who spoke today at our local board meeting. He said he estimated that it's gonna cost approximately $7 million a month for our school district, which has 220,000 students and about 26,000 staff, to sanitize and buy cleaning supplies every month. That's just
I have
unconscionable.
no words.
Yeah. Yes, I heard that. He was like $7 million.
Where we gotta get the money? You
Right.
know,
Yesterday, I was watching him on TV because we were at my school.
right,
I said, "Hey, man, what are you talking about?" You know, another one of those great relationships I've been blessed with.
right.
I'll see him on TV. He'll say something, and I'm like, "That sounded really weird. What were you talking about today on TV?" And he'll
Right.
say, "Yeah, man, that's the actual cost." Okay,
So
look,
that
these
was
are some
weird.
friends that have very high IQs, let's say, and they're a little bit out there. Because I
Right.
could probably say that about me too, you know. And I'll say, man, you know, I know there's a method for the madness, a method to the madness. You got to tell them,
Right.
brother, what were you
Yeah.
thinking? What were you talking about today?
Right.
Sometimes the explanation will make sense, and you know, it made
Yeah.
sense today.
And this has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation, Cato. Thank you so much,
Thank you
just for
for
sharing
having
your
me.
expertise. And
Yeah.
I appreciate you being a hero among us and going back into the classrooms. I wish you nothing but the best in safety. Just rock it out. And
Right.
I would definitely, if you do get school funds, I would invest in those plexiglasses and those face shields. And I would be wearing a face shield and get one for all of your students. And if you have to sanitize those, or if you want to get enough for all students, look at your roster, find out how many you have, and I would
Well,
make it work. Yeah.
I need to get with you, Dr. India, because one of the things I remember from our time working together is that you were always writing off for these classroom grants, and you won almost every grant that you ever wrote off for. You'd write off for 25 calculators, 25 graphing calculators, and you'd win it. They'd show up at the school. The principal would be like, "Hey, let me have a couple calculators." You know, you'd write off for a big 8 foot wide smart board and you'd get
Yeah,
it. You know, so
I
let's say I
remember.
need to get with you and
Yeah.
hopefully you can mentor me in
Oh,
in
I'm here. Yeah.
many grant writing, because I remember the grants were just a few paragraphs worth of writing that you would do. And
Yeah. Yeah,
So I
we're
need
in
to
this
check in.
together. So, and
Yeah,
I appreciate the work you do. And I know you're
thank you.
teaching math. And what math are you
Yeah,
teaching this year?
go math, go
That's
math, go
right.
math, go math. I've loved math since I was. Now, let me not tell a whole. Let me not tell a fake story. But I've loved math at least since I was in college. I was going to say since I was a kid.
Wonderful.
That's not true. But I've loved math since I was in college. I had great college algebra teacher who taught me how to understand the language of math, and I was off to the races in math.
Nice.
But I teach right now for with ninth graders at Middleton High School, which is a fantastic technology magnet school. Kids get out of our school from the magnet program and they're ready to go work for Microsoft and other great companies. Yeah, they're building these robots that are half the size of a room, half the size of a classroom. It's insane in a good way. So I'm really happy that that the principal brought me over. One of the reasons he brought me over was because of my community interaction, and he felt that I could bring other programs to the school from the community, and we can benefit from those relationships.
That's
So
a
anyway,
smart principle.
thank you.
Smart principle.
Liberal arts algebra. It's one class I'll be teaching. Possibly geometry, and of course algebra 1.
Well, if
So
you need any resources,
oh
here
yeah,
I am.
there's
Big
no yeah.
Ideas Math. We're right here.
It's a matter
BigIdeasMath.com.
of when. Once they
So,
let us get back to work,
yeah.
a matter of when.
So, but thank you so much for your time on the show. Cato,
Yeah,
you're
thank you.
amazing. You're a wonderful person. And
Thank you.
I'm
Right,
so grateful to God that He brought you in my life. We've had great laughs together for many
right,
years. And I
right.
don't think it's going to stop. So, again,
Thank
thank
you.
you for being you. And thank you all for tuning into the Real Talk Show. We had our special guest here, Cato Nord. If you want to reach out to Cato, tell us again, what is your email so that people can reach out to you?
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, my Google phone number, which I don't mind giving out, is 305-814-5386. I can look at the calls as they're coming in. If I'm occupied, I can read your text message, what have you. Also, keto.nord, so cato.nord@gmail.com. My website is ktpgllc.com, and my social media handles everywhere are KETO, Cato, the photo guy, all one smashed word. Cato, the photo guy. I'd love to hear from you. I love to connect with people. Thank you.
Wonderful. And I'm going to share the rest of these so that they can see your social media handle. They see your Gmail. And then there was one more thing that you said, and I'm trying to get to it. And for some reason, I forgot.
Let's see. Website.
Your phone number, your website. There it is.
Oh yeah.
So
website.
tell me again, what's your website?
Sure. KTPG, as in Cato, the photo guy. KTPGLLC.com. You can go there, look through my galleries, see my breadth of photography, all the different types of photography I do. I even do sports photography, by the way.
Nice.
So yes, ma'am.
You do weddings and stuff too?
I do weddings. Wonderful. Yes. If the wedding is for 500 or 1,000 people, again, I can bring in more contractors, and we can handle your event. Oh, I've been blessed to work with a number of great figures. I've done photography with President Barack Obama, done photography with Governor Charlie Crist from the state of Florida here. It's a lot of different Wyclef Jean. I've been blessed to photograph some really awesome people over the years. Yes.
Very commendable.
Not that poor little kid from Haiti.
Hey, and now look at you, right? Just rocking it out.
Well, I'm nowhere near where I'm going to be, but that's the thing. We never stop moving forward.
That's right. Just got to move forward. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Oh, again, thank you, Cato, for your time, and I'm proud of you. And
Right?
thank you for what you've contributed to society. Keep up the great work, and I wish you the best. We wish you the best as you go into the schools this year and you tackle COVID and you tackle the achievement gap. Keep moving
Yeah,
forward, and just know that we are here, and I'm here. I'm just a call away. So,
I appreciate it, Dr. White. I hope to tackle COVID from a distance.
yes, right,
Please, not up close and personal.
right.
I
So,
like living.
yeah.
But
All
thank
right.
you for having me on your show today,
You're
keeping it
welcome.
real, Dr. White.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right, God bless you.
You too. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Bye.